Yeah, my name is Harold R Penn, and uh, I was a sergeant when I got out. A sergeant out of the Marine Corps. And I joined the Navy Reserve, the Marine Corps Reserve right away. And I stayed in the Marine Corps Reserve for about 3 years.
And this is after the war or before?
It was after the war, yeah. And then I was called back into the Korean War. And of course I had 2 dependents, and my wife made 3. And my wife was pregnant with the 3rd child, so
wow.
They wouldn't take me. So
That's good.
yeah, they gave me a inactive status awaiting discharge. And when the baby was born, August the 14th. Well, first of all, I had to go out to the Naval Air Station in Jacksonville every day before I'd go to work and report in to the first sergeant in the office. And then when the baby was born, I took the birth certificate out to the Naval Air Station, and they gave me a discharge.
Wow.
And that was in 1950. And from there, then I continued to work. I was parts manager for Chrysler Plymouth dealer
wow.
in Jacksonville, and I stayed there till 19. I guess it was 19. I don't remember.
Oh, that's okay.
But it was anyway. It was in the 1900s, and but anyway, I thought that I could sell cars. So a friend of mine was the manager of a used car department. So he gave me a job selling automobiles, that I could make more money. Well, I couldn't sell cars. I found that out. You had to be a liar, and
That's probably a good thing you couldn't then.
yeah, a good thing. It was a good thing I couldn't. So then I went back into the parts business, and then I applied for a job for Saipan Rubber Company, and I stayed there for 13 years.
Wow.
With Saipan Rubber Company, and they finally folded, or they sold out to Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. And but after that, I just lived a normal life, selling tires and working in the tire industry, tire business.
Wow.
And it was good to me. I sold a lot of tires, and before that, I was in the freight business for about 35 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I worked for Carolina, Tamiami Freightways
Okay.
to begin with, then Carolina Freight Carriers and Mercury Motor Express. Those
Wow.
three carriers that I worked for. But it was a good life, you know. I've seen a whole lot of changes in my 93 years right here in Tampa.
What are some of the biggest changes you've seen?
Well, the tallest building was the hotel downtown.
The Floridian?
The Floridian Hotel. Yeah.
Wow.
That was the tallest building in Tampa, and but I've seen Tampa grow from 100,000. 110,000 people all the way up to almost 400,000.
Wow.
In fact, there is 400,000 people. I've seen the college open up, and at 46 students there at the University of South Florida. And gosh, there's been so many changes.
Believe it.
so many changes. Yeah, but it's been a wonderful life. I tell you, like I say, 93 years is a long time, and I've enjoyed most of it. Yeah.
Sure. So, sir, you were saying 1940 you moved to Tampa, and your mom didn't want to sign. So, could you repeat what you said about finding a wino?
Oh, my mother wouldn't sign the papers, so I told her, I said, if you don't sign it, I'll go down on Franklin Street and find me some wino, and surely he'll sign.
Where was the recruiting station around here?
Post office.
Really? Okay. The one on Temple Terrace, or?
No, the one downtown.
Okay.
I lived on Lamar Street.
Okay.
That was over in West Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Okay.
No, I say West Tampa, Tampa Heights.
Okay.
Tampa Heights, and then we moved over to Seminole Heights.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you what year in high school were you in when you joined?
I was in the 9th grade.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And how long were you?
Yeah.
When did you turn 17?
April 23rd, 1925.
When you turned 17, sir?
Mm-hmm.
And
No, I'm sorry. April 23rd, 1942.
then how soon after did you join?
I joined. Well, I wanted to join in June, but my mother wouldn't sign, so she signed the papers in November.
Okay, so not too long
And,
after.
no, not too long after. So.
And sir, you said your brother was already in the Marines?
Oh yes.
Who was he with?
He was in the Marine Corps.
No, what unit?
Was he?
Do you remember? Like what division?
Well, he was in the 1st Marine Division.
Okay.
But he was postmaster in Norfolk, Virginia, and he stayed there the entire time.
Lucky him.
8 years.
Wow.
8 years he stayed right there in Norfolk, Virginia.
Wow. You got lucky. In November when you joined, how soon did you leave for training? I'm assuming you went to Parris Island if you're over here?
Yeah, I left the next day.
Wow.
The next day for Parris Island, South Carolina. And,
What was the training like back then? Because I went to Parris Island and I've seen, I saw the old pictures from World War II. Always wondered what it was like.
Yeah. Back in those days, they only trained us for 7 weeks. And, of course, most of it was drilling and the rifle range and bayonet practice. And
were you using the bolt-action Springfields then, or
Oh,
were
yeah.
you? Okay.
1903 Springfield.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we fired from 600 yards.
Wow.
And it was a fur piece, I'll tell you. And I didn't hit the target the first 2 rounds. I missed the target, you know. I hit the butts. But
Did you still have other recruits in the pit pulling the targets?
oh yes,
Okay.
yeah.
That's how you still do it.
Yeah, they still pull the target up and down, and
You could hear the pops over your head while you're down.
oh yeah. You could hear the bullets hitting the butts.
When they hit the berm.
Yeah. But it, like I say, it was only 7 weeks, and gosh, there's a lot of stories I could tell about sitting we were in the H barracks, and first of all we went to Tent City, and we stayed in Quonset huts for about 2 weeks, and then they transferred us over to a gosh, we thought we were rich and in hog heaven when we got to the barracks, you know.
Was it just the one hallway, like squad bay kind of style, or?
Oh yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just one. You go up the steps, and open the door, and of course there was a back door, steps there too. But you go up the steps and open the door, and it was full of bunks, you know. And
Did you have any free time at all when you were there?
oh yes, yeah, we had at night we had free time, but the lights were out at 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
So and the drill instructor would come through and make sure you were in the bunk, you know. But I was sitting on the steps one day and had two sticks, was playing like a drum, you know, and the drill instructor, he heard the noise. So he came out of his room, which was right in the barracks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the hallway connected to, well, you've seen it. It connects two barracks together. Mm-hmm. And their room was
right in the middle.
Right in the middle. And anyway, he heard the noise, and he came to the door, and he said, "You want to play the drums?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Go over to field music and tell Sergeant so-and-so that I sent you." That was a mistake. Anyway, I went over there, and Sergeant said, "Did you play drums in high school?" I said, "No, sir." He said, "Do you know how to play drums?" I said, I think I do." He gave me a snare drum and two drumsticks. I couldn't play the drums. He sent me back over. He said, "Tell Sergeant Bernardo to send you to the A squad, A team." But, oh, there was all kind of stuff. But you know, we got the tetanus shots,
Mm-hmm.
and this guy in front of me, he passed out. Well, back then, in '42, it was before they paved the parade field.
Really?
You know, oh yeah, it was just sand, and the sand fleas would eat you up.
Still there.
Oh boy, they were still there, and they would even in wintertime. You know, November. November was pretty cold, but the sand fleas, they'd come out on a warm day, and they'd eat you up. There was plenty of warm days too. Yeah.
After training, where'd you go?
Well, after training, I went to I pulled guard duty in Yorktown, Virginia, Naval Mine Depot in Yorktown, Virginia. And I stayed there for several months, and then they transferred me over. Well, in boot camp, the drill instructor threw his locker out, and he stood on top of the locker, and he said, "All right, the following men will report to well, whoever." Said, and the following 10 men will report to C school, and I was one of them.
Wow.
I went to C school and learned how to speak the third person, and you know, was captain's orderly, and of course we went aboard this light cruiser, and I was captain's orderly, and at battle stations I was a gunner on a 20 millimeter anti-aircraft gun, and that's when they come out with the new Mark 14 sights.
Wow.
And you'd get the plane in that sight, and you would lead him, or the sight would lead the plane, and you'd fire into the plane, you know. And of course somebody asked me, said, "Did you ever shoot down any planes?" I said, "There was so much flak up there, you didn't know who hit what." It was a whole lot of flak. But after sea school, I went aboard this light cruiser and put it in commission in August of 1943. Well, we went through the Panama Canal.
What was the cruiser's name?
USS Biloxi.
Biloxi?
Uh-huh. We went through the Panama Canal zone and or Panama Canal, and we came out in the Pacific, and we went to San Francisco, and we made a speed run back through the canal and up to Portland, Maine, and gosh, I got seasick. I got so seasick at going through Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, on the way to on a speed test, you know, and it would run 32 knots.
Oh man!
Which was pretty fast for a cruiser. But anyway, after that, after we went back to San Francisco and picked up 500 Marines and took them to the Marshall Islands, and that was our first engagement, was the Marshall Islands.
What was that like?
Well, it was, to be honest with you, and you don't mind me saying this, it was holy hell. We were all recruits. we didn't know, we knew our position very well because we had been on a shakedown cruise, and we knew our position. We knew what we had to do, and with planes diving in at you, and you firing the 20s and the 40s and the 5-inch. See, we had 6-inch guns and 5-inch, 40 millimeter and 20 millimeter, and the 5-inch would fire first, and then the 40 millimeter would as the plane got closer would start firing, and then the 20 millimeters after you got pretty close. But you know, but as far as hitting something, I don't know whether I ever hit
Hard to
anything.
tell.
Yeah.
Had you dropped off the Marines in the Marshall Islands before you came under attack?
Yes, we did. Mm-hmm.
What island was it? Do you remember?
Gosh, Emu Island. Yeah.
And were you guys?
I've got a list of it all.
Oh wow, I love this
back there. Yeah.
So were you off the coast when the Japs attacked?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Would you mind telling me kind of what how that day went for you? Like when you how'd you realize they were attacking? Like what happened? What were you doing before? And
well. Actually, general quarters sounded about 8 o'clock in the morning, and we all went. Of course, starboard was up. I mean, port was up, starboard was down, and that's the way you control the ship, and also control the men. You know, the starboard side was down. If they had to go down into the engine room or whatever, they would take the ladders and go down, and the ones on the 20 millimeter, 40 millimeter, 5-inch, and 6-inch guns would use the port side to go up, you know. And but we had rested that day, that night. I mean, everything seemed to be normal, and then general quarters sounded, and of course the radar picked up 12 planes that was coming in to attack the fleet. and which they did. They came in and attacked us, and but you know, I wasn't scared. There's one time in my life that I've been afraid, and during the war, I had bullets hitting all around me, and I never was afraid of getting wounded, you know, or shot, because or killed, you know. But one time, it was at Okinawa, and I was hanging on a pipe, and I was captain's orderly, and the seas were so rough, and people think that I'm crazy when I say 80, 90-foot waves, and which is true. We lost 3 destroyers that night, and we took a 38-degree list, which was almost turned over, and of course the destroyers, they did turn over. The Monaghan, the Spence, and one other. I got it back there. In fact, I got it over there. But anyway, we went from the Marshalls to Truck Island, and we didn't land any troops in Truck Island. We just bombarded Truck Island, and we went to from there. We went on to Pellew, and we landed troops there, and we were called fire for the I think the 2nd Marine Division was at Pellew. I'm not sure which division it was.
They were there, and I believe the 1st Marine Division was there as well.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I believe they were both there.
Yeah, but we were called fire for the 2nd Marine Division, and they would radio us, and you could hear them. You could hear them if you were in the radio shack. Right. But I was on my gun position at that time, you know. But you know, almost turning over scared me. With waves 80, 90 foot high, you'd see a what we call a tin can destroyer would go under one wave and come out and maybe take 2 waves on top and then disappear. It would be just gone, you know, and then they'd pop up again.
Wow.
And
why were you never scared, like when you were in combat?
I had a job to do, and I did it. You know, I just did what you had to do. But
so you said general quarters were sounded, and you said starboard went up, or port went up.
Yeah, port side up and starboard side down.
So after you went up, what did you do? You got to your gun?
Oh yeah. I was captain's orderly. What time I wasn't on my gun position, or I stayed in khakis all the time, and never wore my
dungarees,
my greens, you know. But just the khakis and the cartridge belt and all that.
Did you have your boondocker boots on, or did you have the dress shoes?
Oh, we had dress shoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
yes, the boondockers. Boondockers was in my locker.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I very seldom ever wore those.
Okay.
I'd wear them when I was off duty, you know. But there was 4 or 6 of us. It was captain's orderly, and you'd serve 4 on, 8 off, and then 4 on and 8 off. Yeah, but but you just serve 4 hours, and you'd stand outside of his cabin when he was at sea, or I stayed right next to the radio shack, and that's where I learned to type.
Really?
I learned to type in the radio shack, but
So how soon did the planes start coming in?
oh, they came in about 8:30.
Wow. So
About
were you
8:30.
already in your station when they got there?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. We were already in our battle stations.
And,
And,
how was it like as your first time? What were you thinking?
First time I was a little bit nervous, but I wasn't scared at all. I fired my 20 millimeter, and the barrel changer. He'd have to change the barrel every magazine. It held 163 rounds.
Oh wow.
The magazine did.
Were they Zeros? The Japanese planes?
Yeah. Japanese Zeros. That's what they were. Yeah.
How close did they get to the ship?
Well, they used to drop bombs, and the Japanese couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with a base violin. We were lucky there. That we shot down all 12 of the planes, and the fleet did, and nobody got hurt. No, not a soul. They didn't drop a bomb on any ship whatsoever. Then they started that suicide job,
Kamikaze.
Kamikazes, yeah. But from Peleliu we went on to Saipan, Tinian, Guam, and Rota, and that was a chain of islands. And I forget now where it was, but I got a copy of the ship's log over there.
Oh wow.
It tells day by day where we went and what we did, And then we went from there to July the 4th, 1944. We went to Iwo Jima, and at Iwo Jima, you wouldn't have thought that there was a living soul on that island, because they were not on the island; they were under the island, in the caves, and we just didn't have the bombs that
You get to them.
to get to them. And then after we secured Guam and Saipan, Guam was a heck of a. I've talked to some guys that was on Guam. They say the snakes was the bad part. Said you'd go into your tent and pull the covers back, and there would be a couple of snakes in the bed with you. I don't know how they stood it.
Oh.
But from there we went on down to Hollandia, and I had an uncle that was in Hollandia, and we landed the army there. We covered the landing there, and then we went from there. We went to.
That's so good.
Yeah, we went to. We pulled the first carrier raids on Tokyo after we secured Okinawa. They started issuing foul weather gear, and we all thought, well, what in the devil are they issuing us foul weather gear for? Big old heavy jackets and boots and fur-lined boots and gloves and all that stuff. And of course, after 2 days of cruising, we woke up one morning. It was cold, and I was glad to get that jacket.
I bet.
but anyway, we pulled the first carrier raids that was ever pulled on Tokyo, and we dropped a lot of bombs, on Tokyo. The B-25s, B-29s would take off from
Iwo Jima?
from Iwo. Yeah, that's the first thing we secured on the island was the airfields. Yeah, but we were at Okinawa, and at 7:15 that morning, 4 planes came in on our starboard side, and all 4 of them was torpedo bombers. And this one dove down at us and hit about 30 feet off of the stern, you know. And then we shot down one, and one of them turned around and started going back, and the 5-inch got him. They shot that one down. But the third one, he dove at us, and he saw he wasn't going to hit, so he looped up, come around, and hit the port side of the ship. I can show you back there where it hit, you know. But it hit the ship, and the bomb did not explode. It went into the storeroom, but it didn't explode, thank God, because we'd have been dead in the water, because that was just above the screws.
Wow.
You know.
How much damage did the plane cause?
Oh, it caused quite a bit of damage. Yeah.
Did you guys lose anyone?
No, there was about 17 sailors that was scratched up, but you know, flying debris and off the plane and whatever. But like I say, thank God it didn't explode, because would have been dead in the water. And then we continued to fire in Okinawa. Well, the crew went over the side and tried to put some steel plates on the side, and they welded plates on the side of the ship, and every time we would fire, it'd kick us 3 feet back in the water, you know. We'd fire a salvo of 6-inch guns, and but anyway, the plates kept coming off, so they sent us back down to Espiritu Santos, which was an island that we didn't take. It was a lagoon, and they had a dry dock in there. So we backed down into that dry dock, and they welded some plates on it and sent us back to Okinawa. And we stayed at Okinawa for, like I say, until the island was secure. Then we went to Tokyo, Japan.
Was that the only time the ship was hit with a kamikaze?
Oh yeah, yeah. But Lord of mercy, I've seen the USS Franklin get hit, the Intrepid.
What was that?
Ticonderoga. That was at. Well, 2 of them got hit at Saipan, and the Intrepid took 3 suicide jobs. Boom, boom, boom. It killed 390 some odd men that died.
And you saw all of it happen?
Oh yes.
Can you kind of tell me about that?
Yeah, well, there's not much to say about it except that I did see it. You know, we were in the
Battle stations.
yeah, I was at battle stations, and of course we fired at the planes. You know, until they got so close that we couldn't fire because we were afraid we'd hit the other ships, and especially the 5-inch guns. You know,
Sir.
they would fire, and of course the rangefinder would set the projectile to go off at a certain distance. You know, and he estimated how far the plane was, and we had a pretty good officer that could tell the difference.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's pretty good at the distance. Yeah, he knew how to calculate them.
Wow.
Yeah, he was good.
By the end of the war, how many men from your ship were lost?
We didn't lose but one man.
Really?
Yeah, just one man. He got washed overboard. He was going to the incinerator, and a wave happened to hit us and washed him overboard. He didn't have a life jacket on or nothing. And I used to go to the third. My daughter-in-law or my granddaughter-in-law, she taught school, and she taught 3rd grade, and I used to go over every year. I'd go over and talk to the high school students and to the 3rd graders. And a little girl asked me one time, she says, "Do you think that man is still out there swimming around somewhere?" After all these years, you know. I said, "No, honey," I said, "he's probably dead by now, you know."
Or a really good swimmer.
Yeah, really good swimmer. But anyway.
Sir, on your dress uniform, what patch would you wear? What unit patch? For the seagoing Marines, what was your insignia?
It was a picture of a seahorse.
Okay.
A seahorse, and my granddaughter has my original uniform.
Oh wow.
And it's got the patch on it and the stripes and everything, and she's got it over in the cedar chest.
Wow.
She lives over. Well, she moved to Michigan now.
Oh wow.
She's up in Michigan, but anyway, she's got the original uniform that I had, the greens.
You'd love to see that sometime.
Yeah. The original greens. I never did have blues.
I heard that a lot.
Of course, yeah. It was very seldom that we had blues back in World War II. You know,
Sure.
it just yeah. But I enjoyed my time in the Marine Corps. I wanted to stay in, but they said no. We got so many men now that want to stay in, and I said, well, why can't I stay in? And they gave me some kind of reason. I don't know what it was, but I had a stomach problem, and that was one reason that they said, we don't know what's wrong with your stomach, but or your intestines. So when I got out of the Marine Corps in 1948, I was in the Marine Corps Reserve, but in 1948, I got a pain in my stomach, and boy, I'm telling you, it was killing me. And so my wife, she called the doctor and that's when they used to make house calls.
Mm-hmm.
So he came out, and he probed around in my stomach and all, and he said, I think it's his appendix. So they sent me to the hospital that same day. The next morning they operated on me. And they found a cord growing around my intestines. And they just unwrapped that and cauterized the spot where the cord came out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they cut that off, and gosh, I can eat 10 cans today, it don't bother me. Yeah, I can eat anything.
That's good. Yeah.
It doesn't bother me at all, yeah.
Any funny stories from the Corps you remember?
No, the only thing I can remember is in boot camp. Funny story was my drill instructor was Pete Bernardi, and he was well known at Parris Island, South Carolina. And Pete gave a command one day. He says, "Left face." This guy turned right. He said, "Your other left, stupid." And boy, that's when they could get up right in your face and cuss you out. And
did they ever hit you back then, or?
no, I never did.
Okay.
Oh, they used to take this assistant drill instructor. He had a.
Get that.
I got it.
But no, that was the most funniest thing that I know of. That now, as far as the assistant drill instructor, he used to carry a swaggler stick, and I didn't have my heels together, and we stand at attention, and he'd come along and he'd look at your heels and he'd slap you on the legs and say, "Put them heels together, boy," and you'd click them together. But I guess another funny thing is Pete told Pete Bernardi, the drill instructor, he told his kid, says, "You and I are going to the sick bay." He said, "The only reason I'm going is to get my shoe out of your, you know what."
That's funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
When you left off active duty during World War II, did you keep anything? Like any souvenirs or anything?
No, I kept. Well, the ship has a reunion every year, and in fact, I just got back off of seeing a friend of mine who I've known for all these years. He was on the ship. He was in the L division, and I used to spit shine his shoes, and I forget what he did in return, but anyway, he was a good friend of mine, and he's in Noonan, Georgia, and we drove up to my daughter and granddaughter took me to Noonan, Georgia to see him.
Oh, wow.
And he had just got out of the hospital with double pneumonia and also congestive heart failure. And I had the same thing back in April. I had pneumonia in both my lungs and also congestive heart failure. But I'm doing what the doctors tell me to do, and I'm okay today. You know,
Right.
I'm all right today. But as far as then we came on down to after Noonan, Georgia, we spent the night there, and we came to Albany, Georgia,
Wow.
which is a couple of 100 miles south of Noonan, and that's where everybody met for the ship's reunion.
Oh, wow.
And there wasn't but two of us there, me and another fellow, and he couldn't hardly walk. He had a four-wheel walker like this, and he's from Indiana. Boy, that's a long tape.
Yeah. 45 on each side.
Yeah, he was from Now, Neil, who buys all that stuff? Do you have to?
Well, I buy all of it.
You have to. I didn't know whether college furnished it.
Oh, this isn't through the college, sir. This is something I'm doing on my own, kind of.
Oh, I see.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But anyway,
You said came down through New. Are you from Indiana? You said.
yeah, from Indiana, and after the war, I was home, and I was supposed to go back to the ship, but a couple of Marines came to my house, and told me to report to Key West, Florida, and they gave me a pass to go on the bus and whatever, and I took the bus on down to Key West, Florida, and I stayed down there from I think it was June, July, and August. September the 12th, I got out.
Okay.
I had enough points. I had 103 points, and that was quite a few points. And after 9 battle stars, 9 engagements, of course, we built up quite a few stars, well, quite a few points, But I got out, and the mustered out pay was, they sent me back to, all the way back to, I was living in Tampa, but they paid me all the way to Jacksonville.
Oh, wow.
But I used my pass to go to Tampa instead of Jacksonville, which was all right with the bus company. Yeah.
What awards did you have when you got out in the service? You had the World War II victory, Asiatic campaign.
Yeah, I got medals back then.
Oh, I'd love to see them if you don't mind.
Okay, in the back room, and but anyway, after the war, I did get out, and yeah. You want to move that?
Yeah, absolutely. Sir, will you say your name and the rank one more time? This for the recording?
Yeah, my name is Harold R Penn, and I was a sergeant in the Marine Corps, and
you were 1942 to
yeah, in November 1944 to September 45.
Thank you very much.
November 1942 to September 45.
Wow.
Yeah,
thank you very much, sir.
That's what it was. Yeah.
You were saying with the equator?
Now is it?
Let's go.
I'll turn the Bible down and get a little bit higher. Perfect.
Yeah. No, when we crossed the equator the first time, well, we were all called pollywogs.
Pollywogs,
Yeah. And then after you cross the equator, you become a shellback. Well, in order to cross the equator, you had to go through an initiation. And it was quite the thing to go through the initiation.
I've heard.
First of all, they strip you down to just your shorts, and they water you down with a hose, and the hose is strong enough it'd knock you down. and when the Marines got up there, they got along with the Marines all right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody was congenial, and we were all shipmates. But anyway, they aimed that water hose at our feet and knock us down. Well, the first thing you do, you come to the Queen, the King, and the Princess, and or the Prince. Yeah, a male is Prince.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but anyway, you have to curtsy the Queen, kiss the King's hand, and kiss the royal baby's belly. Well, you think that you're going to just, and his stomach is coated with bunker C2 oil, and you think you're just going to go and smack his stomach, and a guy stands behind you and pushes your face right down into his stomach, and he's a little old fat guy. And then the next thing you do, you walk the burning sands, and it's all electrified. It's not enough to hurt you, but it's enough to shock you, you know. And we had to walk across that sand as far as from here to that door, and we walk along, and if you ran, you had to walk again. You know, but when they said walk, they meant to walk slowly, and so we did. We walked pretty slow, and then the next thing you go to the royal barber, and he shaves you bald headed. I mean, every bit of the hair shaved off your head. And of course the barber will say, "How do you want it?" He said, "Just trim up the sides." Well, he does. He trims up the sides, and when he goes all the way across, and I had a head of hair like you. And then the next thing you know, you go to the royal doctor, and he gives you a green or a red pill, and it makes you urinate either green or red, and you think you're bleeding to death with the red pill, you know. But I was lucky. I was lucky that he gave me a green pill, and there was guys that had the red pill, and then the last thing you do is go through the slop chute, which is a sleeve about far from here to that fence out there. It's full of all garbage. They save the garbage for a couple of days, and they pour garbage in that sleeve, and what you have to do is crawl through it, but keep your rear fanny down. I mean, all the way down, because they're standing over you, the shellbacks, or they're called turnbacks, you know, and that's the guys that had been through the shellback initiation, so they can participate in the initiation. So we called them turnbacks, and they would stand there with shillelaghs a thin thing full of sand, you know. We had a sand locker aboard, and in other words, the thing wasn't that big around, but it was full of sand, and it hurt. It hurt when they hit you, and you come out of the slop chute, and you run the belt line, and they're not supposed to hit you, but anywhere but on the rear end, and of course some of them couldn't help it. It hit you just above it or below it, and but anyway, you ran through that about maybe 150, 200 feet, and then you go take a shower, and it's all cold water, and they give you octagon soap, which won't lather up. It's used in laundry, you know, and you try to bathe that, you try to wash that bunk of C2 oil off of your face, and it won't come off. It's just, but then you become a shellback, and if I ever go back on a cruise, then I'll show this shellback card, and I won't have to go through the initiation again. But it was fun. It was fun going through that.
I've heard. It's on my list I really want to do. I haven't had the chance yet, so.
Yeah. Well, if you ever have a chance, go through it.
Oh, absolutely.
You'll enjoy it. It's not any fun at the moment.
Oh yeah, but looking back, it's probably.
But looking back, and then it's a lot of fun. You know, you look back over it.